Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Williams, your host. Thank you so kindly for being here in the studio with us at KPFT 90.1 FM. Folks, we are enchanted. We are happy that you are here with us. And you know, today we're going to have some great subjects. But before we get started, I want to thank El Señor Rico. Rico, how are you doing today, my brother?
Doing pretty good. Just got back from the UK, so I'm feeling refreshed.
You're refreshed. You went out of the country for some time, and you're back in the country again. You're needed. But hey, I have some news that I love what you bring to our program. You kind of give me a little bit of a youthful feeling with your scratching and jamming with the new stuff. I really enjoy that. So let me just say that I am going to miss that because, as you guys know, Politics Done Right is going to be moving effective Monday to 6 a.m., 6 in the morning during drive time for 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I won't be with you. And for those who are used to listening to Politics Done Right at noon, please remember, if you can't wake up with me and take on the great new stuff we're going to be doing at noon, I ask you to remember that the archives are still going to be there for you to listen to it at whatever hour you want at kpft.org. Or, of course, you can listen to it live again at 3 o'clock at politicsdoneright.com. You guys have supported us for such a long time. I want to make sure that you stay in the Politics Done Right family here at KPFT and everywhere else, folks. That is what we're talking about. I want to thank all of you guys. Now, Friday, when we have our last noon show, I'll have a lot more to say, but I want to make sure that all of you know that you are absolutely always appreciated, folks. Always appreciated. I want you to come, for those of you who can be here at 6 a.m. in the mornings for the show, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Remember, you get a whole 2 more hours on air of Politics Done Right. Bringing up the talk shows here, because again, it will be at 6 o'clock. It will be Politics Done Right. At 7 o'clock, it's going to be Amy Goodman with Democracy Now. At 8 o'clock, it's going to be You Call with Steve Hunter. At 9 o'clock, hey, I don't remember all this stuff. I just remember those first few talk shows, right, Rico?
I haven't been here long enough to know.
Well, you know what happened, Rico, is the following. You were out of town for like 2 weeks of us not having you, and a lot changed in those 2 weeks that are there. So, folks, don't forget. Give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension numero 2. 713-526-5738, extension number 2. So don't forget, folks. Anyhow, we have a great program for you today. The title of the show is From Citizen to Candidate, Natalie Carter. Also, a Lion Fox News gets off easy. Money talks, sadly. Money talks, sadly. But anyway, folks, like I'm telling you, folks, let me just say, I don't take the same position you're going to hear on the mainstream media. I don't take the position that money talks, so somehow Fox News is paying the piper. That's not where I'm at. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you know what? Before I get into the actual subject, these 2 items that I said is the subject of the day. All of you by now have heard about the Missouri kid, the good kid, the kid in the band, the kid that wants to be an engineer, the kid that has his full life ahead of him. A homeowner, he knocked on the wrong door. He went to pick up his brother. He knocks on the wrong door. And what happens? What happens for knocking on the wrong door? He simply got shot in the head. And other than getting shot in the head, he gets shot in the arm. I mean, for knocking a door. I really want you guys to understand what we're talking about here. Suppose you are a Domino's delivery person. Suppose you are a somebody going to mail something. You got shot because you knocked the door. And people look at that and sometimes they think, well, there are all these laws, Castle Doctrine, and all these other laws that are passed. Now, anybody who wants a gun can get a gun. Hey, you don't even have to get a fact check. Go to a gun show and exchange a gun for money. Everybody is armed and dangerous now. We take it. And everybody wants to say we have our Second Amendment rights, right? We got our Second Amendment rights. So I'm going to tell you something, folks. We're killing ourselves. For people who've been all over all over the world, and hell, I'm from Panama. This only happens in America. And don't think it's because of our Second Amendment. Why? Oh, we should just have all these freedoms to have guns, etc., etc., etc. It has very little to do about that. It's all about, and I want you to listen well, it's all about one industry being able in 10 years to take us from 300 million guns in this country to 400 million guns in this country. Just because they can make a buck. And whereas the AR-15 used to be 3 to 4% of the guns bought, the AR-15, we're now talking about 20 to 25% of gun sales. A gun with that lethality, a gun that pulverizes organs, bones. I want you guys to realize this. I want you guys to understand this. This is not about Second Amendment at all. This is about much, much more. This is about much, much more. Before I get started, I'll just go ahead and say this. When we start to understand this, I think somebody is ready to come in, Rico. When we understand this, people, okay, I want you to get this. When we understand that we have been for decades, from the inception of this country, using the Constitution to allow the gains of a few under false pretenses. And that's exactly what this gun issue is about. This gun issue is about ensuring that a particular industry can continue to profit at the expense of humanity. Okay? I want you guys all to remember that. By the way, Natalie, it's all cleaned up, all Lysol down and everything to make sure that you won't come to KPFT and think, KPFT has infected me as I came to the studios. Come on in and come close so we can get you on the cameras as well. Anyway, folks, let me tell you, all right? Jack, bring Jack onto the call. Jack, how are you doing today, my dear brother?
I'm good, Egberto. I've been writing some pieces about this, and I'm kind of tying it into the forces of empire
Yes.
is what I call it,
Yes.
This gun rights issue, I think, is being driven by some empire issues.
Yes.
Let me read you what I've been writing.
Okay.
Okay. They're saying Biden wants to come get your guns.
Right.
I believe that the gun owners, are propagandized by the right just as the left. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like they are playing these gun owners and radicalizing them with this hate.
Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I just let me read this piece, and it ties a lot together.
Okay, real quick.
It take about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I believe you're being played not only to a confrontation with democracy, but a confrontation with yourselves. I'm talking about the gun owners. This The gun owner is being exploited by forces of empire, gun lobbies, propaganda, inflated ideologies about the Second Amendment, and a media-driven hype about false threats, misrepresenting, issues like, hordes of Mexicans coming over to do whatever. The gun owners don't need nuts with guns. Young, immature adults who have been radicalized for a race war shooting up school children.
Mm-hmm.
This is gross, grotesque manifestation of what empire is up to. They are baiting you to kill their opposition in the streets, your brothers, your sisters, your children. Because once the firing starts, yes, they will kill many, but you will kill many, but they will kill many too. You will kill theirs and they will kill yours. How does this serve you? It won't.
All right, I'm going to cut you right there because I think we get the gist, and we have some other callers and a guest, okay. Jack. But I appreciate that. Remember, you got my email. Those kind of wording from the ranking file from our listeners are things I want to hear. So go ahead and send me that text, and I'll go ahead and post that in your name. Okay, brother?
Okay, I sure will.
All right, you take one, and thank you so kindly for calling into Politics Done Right. Let's pick up on Ray real quick. Brother Ray, talk to me.
Hey, Berto, shout out and happy hump day to you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, just real quick, I had an epiphany while I was on hold as we're talking about this gun issue. And, it just begs the question, they find this to be the Holy Amendment. But when it came to, I've watched many movies and documentaries about the Black Panther Party. Mm-hmm. And they were a group that rose up and wanted to exude their Second Amendment rights for no other purpose than self-defense against racist cops.
Exactly.
And they were the federal government deemed them a terrorist organization.
Right.
Now tell me, in the country where the Second Amendment is supposed to be, for the people, by the people, but you know what that means. It's for the other man,
exactly.
Not the brother man,
right?
To have that right and protect himself against the brother man. But I ain't gonna go too deep there.
Ray, listen to me, man, brother. Listen to me. We have to remember that what Ronald Reagan did in California, it's only after the Black Panther picked up arms in California that they decided they were going to have gun control in California because, oh my God, you mean those others will be arming themselves as well? Hell no. So you hit the nail on the head, Ray. Ray?
I mean, basically, yeah, I'm still here, man. Yeah. I'm just basically saying, like, it's only a problem. There's a rap lyric and it's basically saying, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when they do it.
Right.
Well,
or
something like that. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. I said it in reverse.
No, I know what you said, and I'm pretty sure everybody at large know what you're talking about. Let me tell you that stuff with the kid though is a lot more dangerous than people understand. Because I mean, when somebody makes the argument about what happens to yesterday, a young kid at my hometown in Kingwood, or not hometown, my home in Kingwood, a young kid looking kind of scraggly with long hair and all of that, but he was a white kid, came to the door, knocked, we opened the door, he delivered its pizza or whatever it was he came to deliver. But suppose it was a Rasta who went to somebody in Kingwood that somehow that looked strange to them, and they just popped a cap into him and then come and say, Castle Defense, even if I just thought that this person was coming on my property to do me harm, and they get off. You notice how quickly that guy in Missouri almost got off until the entire community came out into, and I'm talking about not the black community, I'm talking about the entire community came out. I said, oh my God, if this happens, but what people saw was empathetic. They saw this could potentially happen to my kid too. And that is where we got to get the argument, Ray. But Ray, I got a guest in the studio, brother, that we got to get to, and I appreciate your call. Hey, by the way, we're moving to at 6 a.m. in the morning, starting Monday, but our 3:00 show every day still continues as well on the internet. For those folks who just say, "Oh my God, I can't get up at 6 a.m. to listen to Egberto," so we'll still be doing the other show as well. And of course, they can always go to kpft.org for the archive, brother. Okay, spread the word.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be checking YouTube for sure.
All right, my brother. You take care. We'll talk. All right.
All right.
Take care. Hey, thank you. Anyway, folks, like I said, the title of the show, From Citizen to Candidate, Natalie Carter. And as, of course, a Lion Fox News gets off easy. Money talks. Anyway, let's actually get started. I'm going to skip on that subtitle so that we can get into El Programa. All right, we have From Citizen to Candidate, Natalie Carter. And Natalie, I just had surgery on my eye. Cataract. So if not because you are young, Rico, means that you can laugh at this old man who went ahead and got his eyes cut open, okay?
It's not like that, I promise.
I think I saw a smirk on your face, brother.
No.
It's like, my God, Egberto, are you that old that you have to have cataract surgery?
No, I'm
not old, okay? I'm just...
So much has happened.
Have a defected lens, all right.
Okay.
Just needed some repair.
I just need some repair, right? All right. Anyway, From Citizen to Candidate, Natalie Carter. And I hope I can read this and I'm going to blow it up. When I met Natalie Carter at an event and read her website, it was immediately obvious why I took an interest in her candidacy for the Humble Independent School District School Board. Her moniker is From Citizen to Candidate. And that is what it's all about. Natalie has a bachelor's and master's in the nursing field. She is a wife, a mother, and it's involved in her community. She decided to take off from her personal career to focus on family and community. Those who follow politics done right know that we believe that government is really we the people and not the caricature too many attempt to attribute to our government. First of all, Natalie, thank you so kindly for being a part of Politics Done Right and being here with us. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is like my first radio interview. So
I'm excited to have you here because I always talk about, people have to get involved. And, it's funny because folks that are doing the wrong thing many times are the ones who decide to get involved in politics. Those people that are banning books, those people that are trying to control the lives of people in school and diminish their education with fallacies like, you're teaching CRT and all this kind of crap. So when I saw your candidacy for a board where people like to sometimes raise false hell, I said, you are one whose voice needed to be heard. So tell me a little bit about yourself, first of all.
Well, thank you for that cool introduction. I'm super excited. So my name is Natalie Carter. I am a mother of 3 students that attend Humble ISD. I am a nurse practitioner thank you for just conveying that message that I did take a break to focus on my family and my community. I noticed, the more that I became involved in the kids' schooling and their activities, the better they did. Not only them, but their friends, right? So I'm missing a field trip this Saturday because I'm focusing on our candidacy so we could win. So the kids are like, "Oh, Miss Carter, you're not coming." And I'm like, "No, but next time it's okay. It'll be fine." But I noticed that started happening, right? They were excited to see me at the schools. And so the kids were just starting to do better. And so after, thoughts and prayers. And, we decided to take my expertise and my abilities from being a room parent to a PTO president to the next level. And so that's where I am. I'm running for Humble ISD School Board for position 7 to be exact.
Well, what do you intend to bring to that position? I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, everybody always want to talk about the national congressional race and the senatorial race and all these other things, not realizing that they actually have direct input in how their local schools are going to operate and how these other entities that directly control them are going to operate. How are you going to convey that message to these people, especially to a section within Humble that rarely votes?
Right. I think it's just about getting the message how important this is. I always especially during being a candidate now, just learning the importance of local elections. Everyone gets distracted by these national races and the national elections, but what impacts your everyday life is your local elections. And most importantly, our children. We're making like board trustees for any independent school district. They make like educational decisions that'll impact your child's life, literally.
Right.
And impacts the community and the civics of the community. So it's extremely important that if you have any concerns or disagreements with the current, your current school climate or the way that things are going on in your child's school or the community as a whole, it's really important to focus in on those local governments and those local entities and see how you can impact them.
You know what is interesting is that we see a lot of the shenanigans. Right there at the Humble ISD, I've been in protest when they attempted to do many different things with this particular board and boards before. And what we've noticed often is that they get away with this because only the folks that are that in a lot of ways this may sound wrong, and that's why I think it is so important that for people to listen to what you said initially. I put my profession on hold to take care of family and community.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who don't have to have a profession, that they can use that time to push policies, not necessarily in the best interest of community, but in the best interest of a few. And that's what's so attractive with your candidacy.
Thank you. And I think that's just the nurse that's in me. Always wanted nursing and loving and making sure that I'm not just providing this type of level of service to one individual, but to everybody that I serve. It's critical, especially just getting the more involved I got, the more I learned and the more I wanted to impact that. And education is the great equalizer. So it's important that we get involved. And I always tell my friends and my neighbors who aren't able to take off of work that I'm like, don't worry, you focus on your kid or you focus on work. I'll take care of the kids. I'll text you. I'll let you know.
Right.
It's okay. Trust me. I'm looking out for your kids. And that's essentially what it means it takes a village, right? I'm an active participant in that village. I will text the parent in a heartbeat like, hey, this person's cutting up today.
Yeah.
So, but and I recognize that not everybody has that luxury, but I really want them to rest assured knowing that I'm sincerely looking out for their kid and their kid's future. Even though that we might not be related, I literally am looking out for the almost 50,000 students in our district.
I love to hear that because, and especially when you give people permission to not feel guilty about having to work, because like I said, I watch a lot of the activity specifically in the Humble School District for which you are running, where there are a lot of people, and I'll just say it, that don't have a damn thing to do during the day. And they use that to be ill-informed, and in the process of being ill-informed, have bad policy for students. Now, tell me a little bit about, I haven't followed lately, but where is this book issue that is going around the country? How is that currently affecting Humble ISD? Above that and beyond, how is the issue about not teaching real history affecting folks in Humble ISD? Is this something that you'll ensure as a member of this board being elected, that you will, you will make sure and have a voice that they do what's right?
Absolutely. One, I'm a person of integrity. That is near and dear to my heart. I have the best intentions to make our district exceptional. With regards to the book banning, we see this as a national phenomenon now. It's almost like a playbook that you have, especially with some of the groups that are affiliated or associated with this movement. For me, I think it's impacting our district in a negative fashion. It's a distraction as well as it's a tool of division.
Right.
It's dividing and distracting us in so many ways that are not constructive. Currently, the policy that the Board of Trustees have voted on is in place and it's working. It is in line with TEA guidelines as well as the Texas Penal Code. Anything else or any deviation from that policy or from the penal code would subject the district to potential sanctions as well as legal challenges. And you don't want that. That could cost the district millions and millions of dollars. Furthermore, you don't want to carelessly go about removing books because each book is required to have a due process before they're removed. So again, the process is currently in place. It's working. I recognize that there's passion about this topic. However, we have to do due process. If not, we're subjected to compromising the First Amendment right, where we're taking away information that could compromise the child's education. And we have to do due process and our due diligence. So I think it's starting to I think the process is starting to just kind of settle down a bit. I've encouraged at a forum recently that, hey, you know what? If you don't like the language that's in the penal code, that's a legislative issue.
Right.
The board trustees are required to uphold the law as it is written. Any deviation from that puts the district at severe liability. So I think that message is starting to sink in, and hopefully we could kind of redirect and reunify our community from the distractions and divisions that this has caused. With regards to teaching with history in its entirety, I agree wholeheartedly. I recognize that any histories with regards to race or anything that makes us feel uncomfortable, it makes us all feel uncomfortable. Not just one group, all of us. It's not something that we enjoy doing.
And it's so. I think you need to stress that. Folks, it's like it makes some kids feel uncomfortable, so we don't talk about it. Well, the whole thing, I remember this is a quick story. I remember when my daughter went to school in Kingwood, and when she was going to elementary school, and they were learning about Christopher Columbus, right? And we always used to speak. I teach my daughter real history. I don't depend on a school to teach my daughter history.
Right.
So I remember telling my daughter, Christopher Columbus did not discover America. You can't discover something that was already there, where people were there already. And I would tell her he discovered America for the Europeans who didn't know it was there. All right. So let's teach his history accurately. And I remember she went to school, and the teacher said, Christopher Columbus discovered America. And she raised her hands like, my dad said that it's not Christopher Columbus who discovered America. And then the teacher had to go into a protracted explanation, which I think should have been done in the first place.
Right.
But the thing about it is, when we have parents involved in the education, I mean, if a white parent hears something that isn't accurate, just as much as if a black parent or a Latino parent or anybody hears something that isn't quite accurate, we want our kids informed. History is something that prevents us from repeating bad mistakes.
Right. And it's uncomfortable. And the thing is, it's important when we do it with sensitivity.
Right.
Not intending to group shame. But that doesn't give permission to change that what happened of the past, or, use new words instead of calling slavery for what it was, which was slavery. Don't call it involuntary relocation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well,
actually, there's a book that actually wanted to just call it a migration.
Oh my goodness. And I think that does our students a disservice when we do not teach history in its entirety. It puts us at grave risk of, one, not giving our students total education that they deserve. Two, we're not giving our students enough credit to be able to handle some of these difficult topics and allowing them to come to their conclusions. And three, it's just not right.
Exactly. But you know what? You talk about we're not giving our students enough credit. That is absolutely the case. I mean, the students many times are smarter than the parents in regards to how they deal with social issues, how they deal with humanity. Sometimes they think their parents are crazy for some of the ideas that came down from old to fold, and now they're sitting down there saying, "Ma, why?" Or even I remember having a conversation with my nephew, and I don't remember the issue we were talking about, because as a political activist, I'm always, I believe in social justice, racial justice, all these things. So we were talking, and he said, Tio, he said, Tio, I'm going to tell you this stuff. All of you guys are going to be dead, but we know what's going on already. And, I laughed, because he's like, in other words, he was trying to tell me, you guys can keep with all the old stuff that you want. You'll be dead, but we know what's going on. And the only fear that I have now is what some of the adults are trying to do with a particular sect of kids, to try to put the same evil that has permeated much of society then back into them. And the good thing that I'm seeing a lot of times I always said I love Gen Zs, because they are sure showing people, nah, we are taking control.
Right. And you know what? And they gave me hope. Our future definitely gives me hope. And that's why one of my hashtags is our future is strong. Our future is strong. However, I've recognized that I had to just take a step back and see it appears that we're taking a step back. And I know it's rooted in fear. It's rooted in fear or guilt. And I just want to rest assured that regardless, I'm still going to be a board trustee for everyone. You know, the ones that don't agree with me, the ones that do agree with me.
Right.
The ones that, you know, may not like me for whatever reason. I'm going to still serve in the same capacity with integrity, and trying to meet people where they are, because I think that's important for us to just go beyond our differences and try to unify and get to as close as the middle. Compromise as possible.
It's funny because it is so much more pleasurable. I mean, do you like to be running around the place upset and pissed off?
No, and that's what it is. It's like, man, it's just like when we're constantly fighting, we're distracted.
Yeah.
We're angry. It takes its toll on you.
But it also serves a purpose. But Natalie, there's a caller that wants to ask something of the subject we were talking with before. So I'm going to ask you to hold one quick second. We'll continue that and bring Brooks in. Brooks, you said you wanted to pose a question. Go ahead and pose your question, Brooks. Let's see. I think he's not live yet. All right, Brooks, pose your question, brother.
It's about the Second Amendment, Egberto.
Yes, sir.
And, there are so many people who seem to be Second Amendment absolutists, which is one thing in itself. But everyone now seems to consider the second clause of the amendment uncoupled from the first, which is in regard to the need for a militia.
A militia, right.
And of course, the militia is not the same as it was when the Militia Acts were passed in the late 18th century.
Right.
And, it's been superseded by the National Guard and so forth. And so do you know what the meaning of a militia is today with respect to the Second Amendment? Because it's clear that the founders related those concepts, the militia and the Second Amendment, and the right to bear arms. But today, the militia essentially doesn't exist. So where does that leave the Second Amendment?
Let me first answer it this way. First of all, I would claim, and this is not to discount absolutely anything that you've said. Absolutists who follow the Constitution, I pretty much disregard, because I don't give a document more validity than I give humanity. I know where you're going to be coming from. And I know that you're saying, hey, a militia today isn't what a militia would be tomorrow. To put it more closely, a militia would more likely be something like what we call the National Guard right now. And I think you would agree with that.
Well, yes. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm interested in exploring what the legalities might be considered to be today.
Now, but again, Brother Brooks, the legality today our Supreme Court has proven that the legality does not mean much anymore. It is whatever we want it to be. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but, how can I work with a moving target? How can I work how can I talk about laws where precedents no longer matter? And I get where you're coming from, right? But I think we now have a Supreme Court where precedence doesn't matter. So while I can agree with you 100%, the legality doesn't mean anything because we have 9 people that we've give omnipotent power to do as they please. So explain to me, give me your thoughts. But what I'm saying is, while I agree with you, I don't know that it really matters given the type of what the Supreme Court has become. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, that's fine. I just wondered if that was a question you'd be interested in exploring.
Yes, I'd
be interested in somebody with a legal historical perspective who could sort of shed light on that. But I understand what you're saying, that the question probably wouldn't go anywhere in the current, political and judicial climate.
Exactly.
But what, if someone were going to analyze it thoroughly and with a considered approach, what would they think? What would they think? That's all I was asking.
I'm saying what they would think pretty much is what you would have said. Okay. Well,
thanks so much, Egberto.
All right, folks. Anyway, Mr. Brooks posed a very important and interesting question about the legalities based on the Second Amendment. The issue that I constantly have is in our, and he says in our current climate, and he's correct about that. In our current climate, I don't know how we define legalities anymore. I mean, if a judge in Amarillo can actually make a change to the Food and Drug Administration with one stroke of a pen and stop every woman from having her rights, I mean, our country has become a laissez-faire institution. I'm sorry. We have to get it back, and the only way we get it back is at the ballot box. But anyway, with us today, continue to be Natalie Carter, who is running to be on the school board in Humble, Texas, the Humble Independent School District. I'm honored to have her here in the studio with me. And again, her motto is from citizen to candidate. And I think that is so important because, again, we preach here all of the times that we, the people, I mean, it's not, anytime you hear somebody say the government does this or the government is no good and all of that, it is almost looking in the mirror and saying, I am a failure, because government is supposed to be we, the people. And when I see somebody like Natalie Carter running and saying, I'll be a part of the government in governing your schools, in doing what's right, I cannot help but get excited and realize we're coming to where we're supposed to be and should have been. Natalie, you have to say?
Yeah, I think it's important that you just take that step, right? I'm not a politician by any means.
Wait,
right?
let me stop there. I want to stop you there, okay? You are a politician, Natalie, okay?
Oh boy,
Natalie, let me tell you something. I want to be governed by politicians. You know, it is a nice thing to say, oh, I'm not I don't want to be governed by a businessman. A businessman doesn't know the humanity necessary to be a politician to cover all social issues. They look for profit. They look for, and I have no problem with profit, but at the same token, when we're talking about social issues,
Oh, so I say you're saying a politician from understanding the policy standpoint.
Of course.
And the governance and the policy.
Remember, we have redefined government. We've redefined politician like it's a bad thing. A real politician is an honorable thing. Miss Carter, what you're doing as a politician, as a citizen turned politician is an honorable thing.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right, because it's been stigmatized. Thank you for helping me clarify that. So it's not a bad thing.
No.
Because you want somebody that has competence and that has the ability to actually interpret policy
Absolutely.
as well as govern accordingly. So but this is my first time like actually taking this step in and asking for support, as well as getting the votes out. So it's been a very interesting process. It's been humbling. Our campaign is gaining momentum. Mm-hmm. You know, initially at first I was kind of viewed as like who is this? Oh, it's really cute that this PTO president wants to come and, run for office.
Right.
But now I think we've, made significant progress and people are taking our campaign quite seriously.
Well, and I think it's important. Look, like I said, I want somebody who has kids, not necessarily that you have to have kids to serve, but you've been in every aspect of helping people.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know that schools, as a nurse, please talk directly in the mic when you're talking, right? Because and I make the mistake myself. Don't worry. That school needs nurses.
Right.
All these things.
Right.
That's needed there.
Right.
You are. I don't know how to say it in English, but we will say "Estás sumamente calificada." That means you are
qualified, overly qualified.
No, not overly qualified. I don't want to say. Nobody wants to say they're overly qualified. You could never be overly qualified for a job dealing with the people.
Right. Thank you.
Right. So yes, you are very qualified. You have your master's, you have your bachelor's, you got everything.
Thank you. Yeah, and I want to serve. It's more so just the commitment to serve.
Yes.
I will always be a nurse.
Yeah.
Literally, when I was campaigning, a kid got hit by a car.
Right.
And I'm like, I had my nursing bag in my car, and I'm like, sorry, y'all, I gotta go. And we had to help this young man out, and thankfully we were able to. But I think that's always going to be a part of me. It's definitely going to be that it's never going to die in me. me as I further along my path. And I'm excited to serve.
Well, I'm excited. You know, like I said, from the time that I met you, and then I went to your website and I said, you know, these are the kind of folk that we need to have on school boards. I know I know all of our current school board members. You will be an asset onto that board, and you will bring the necessary. I don't want to say diversity because
diversity of thought. No, it's diversity of thought for
exactly.
sure.
A lot more than with just your presence alone and what you bring. It would be so different than what's there right now, and would be so much more beneficial to the students at whether it's at Humble High, Kingwood High, what's the other one? Summer Creek,
Atascocita,
Guysconzo. All these schools, there needs to be a change of what the board has been. Let's see. Come on in, Linwood. Let's bring Linwood into the fold. Lynn, how are you doing today, my dear friend?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking.
Talk to me.
Yes. What I do think about how being governed by politicians is great, but if you really look at how...
Oh, wait. Something happened to your phone. What's going on? Can you... because it seemed you were about to say something that I definitely want to hear. Okay, so your Bluetooth. So please, if you can get to your phone and not the Bluetooth so we can get you, because it seems to me like you have something very important to say. Go ahead.
That buys the politicians and pays for their campaigns, because the majority of the working people don't put money into the campaigns, because how can they put the money in the campaign of somebody they don't even see there?
Okay, sir, I kind of missed the gist of your statement. So repeat, please.
If you have politicians that are basically being paid by corporate interests, most of whom are operated by white persons, then the people there in those districts, they only see this person on Fox News or MSNBC,
right?
But the vast majority of their Congress people never make it on TV,
right?
So how would they know that politician's there? Most people that live in these congressional districts, like I do, don't even know who their state representatives are.
Now, let me first say, Lynn, you're absolutely right. You know, this little community radio station called KPFT 90.1 FM Houston, one of the things we try to do here, and it's not just right here on the radio, but I don't know if you follow some of the stuff that I do with blogging and otherwise, because you are absolutely right. The mainstream media concentrates on who they want to concentrate on, basically mostly what the corporate state tells them to do and who they promote as the ones. But you know what? We have the opportunities to do different. And one of the things that as an activist, as a political activist, I try to do is bring forth everyone to simply address what you've just said. Can it be done? Yes. Is it easy? No.
It's not.
It's not easy, but there's this stuff called, and you know, they're scared for us to realize this reality. There's something called geometric progression. And geometric progression means if you sit down and you listen to a Politics Done Right, I'm just using Politics Done Right as an example, and you tell 10 people about it, and you enlighten those 10 people to tell another 10. Geometric progression is more powerful than what mainstream media is doing right now by just having one channel to throw their stuff out on. It's not enough to just, for you, my brother Lynn, to say, how are we going to make a change? I'm going to say we make a change when Natalie decided that I ain't going to take this anymore. I'm going to be a part of the solution. And she threw herself into the game. You, Lynn, you may not run as a politician, but you may be able to tell somebody that, hey, there is a Natalie out there that needs to be in the fold. You may not have heard about her elsewhere, but guess what? You know now. Do you agree with me, sir?
I agree with you, absolutely.
And that's what we got to do, brother.
But at the same time, too.
Go ahead. All right, we're missing. I think we're missing you, Lynn, with the Bluetooth. But I got to run to another caller. I think we've made our point. Go ahead.
like when Roger Ailes made his memo that the American people are fat and lazy and they want their thinking done for them, I think that has set into multitude of generations to where the people are, I live in a very conservative district.
I do too.
People actually don't, the majority of people just go to work every day, but they carry the same Republican talking points, but they don't even know the policies that the Republicans are pushing. They just say whatever the Republicans do, it's good for America.
And you know what? That's why we do what we do here. Look, that's why we do what we do here, okay? That's why we do what we do here. Sure. Before you go, I just going to ask if you want to add anything to that real quickly, or?
Yes, I just want to let people know that you could just visit my website at carterforhumbleisd.com if they want more information about my platform. I am a very independent thinker, and I am not anyone's parrot by any means. So I tend to do
which office are you running for?
I am running for Humble ISD Board Trustee Position 7.
So about this, you're in Houston. So what is your status on the state taking over the Houston Independent School District, even though the school district got its stuff together? Well, the governor decided to say, we're going to take it over anyway.
I think it's a very unfortunate circumstance. I think that, in fact, they were turning things around significantly and they were making great strides. I think it's unfortunate how they went in. I think it's definitely politicized. However, I did want to take the opportunity to invite any of those our Houston ISD teachers who are looking for a new job, a new place to come and call themselves home and lend their talents to amazing students. Come on over to Humble ISD. We're looking for amazing teachers to come and we can support you as well as your support staff. Come on over. We have plenty of positions open and ready to take you on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for calling in, Lynn. I got to run to the other caller because we're running slow on time. Okay, brother?
No problem. Have a good day.
Thank you. Jim, come on. Jim, come on in.
Hello. Yes, I've been hearing a lot of this stuff and about that if you teach kids history, the true history and everything, it's going to make them feel uncomfortable, and we can't worry about making kids feel uncomfortable. I think we keep hearing this over and over, and seeing history does not make a kid feel uncomfortable. It doesn't matter what race they are or anything else. If you teach a kid what the actual history is, there isn't any way that kid identifies with the person that did whatever, It's that they're looking at history. They're not feeling uncomfortable that it's somehow them, unless you put that in people's heads. That's the only way somebody's going to feel uncomfortable.
Right. That's a good point. You're right. And however, I think that's probably where we're not having. I think that's probably why they're probably trying to, or maybe conflicted by what they're learning at home versus what they're learning at school. And so that's definitely one of my key elements is community engagement. So where we could all meet and just kind of just become partners in their child's education. And I think it's critical that it's not only, the teachers, but also the parents to become involved and just kind of have a united front with regard to, educating and bringing forth the best possible students who will ultimately lead our future. And so I'm very passionate about that. Thank you for that perspective.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim, for calling in. Anyhow, folks, I have one other subject to cover, but before that, what I want to give Natalie the opportunity to do is tell us a little bit give us a little closer as far as what you intend to do, how is your campaign going, and also how people can reach you to learn about your candidacy.
Right. And so, again, 3 of my major platform issues that are near and dear to my heart include community engagement. I'm passionate about that. Getting our parents involved, getting them in the schools, as well as just forming a bridge between, just aspects and elements of our community that seem to be divided by various things, as well as school safety. I really want to focus on fortifying the schools without necessarily removing the sanctity of school as a whole. But I really do want to focus on mental health, the mental health of our students. Our pandemic and other cataclysmic events that have happened in our district is, done a number on their mental health. So my goal is to disrupt the pathway to violence. So where we no longer have to have these active shooter trainings or have to have these unfortunate, stories or hear of any, terrible shootings that might go on. And the thirdly is definitely teacher recruitment and retention. And not only teachers, but let me say this, the educational support staff, meaning the custodians, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, focusing on recruiting and retaining the best will definitely bring our school district to where it needs to be.
Natalie Carter, I wish you luck in the race. As a host, I can't take positions, but I'm telling you, you're one impressive candidate.
Thank you.
And I really hope that folks see the light, because what has been dearly missing from the humble ISD in many, many instances is not only a thinker, but somebody who understands community and somebody who understands people. And you bring the entire full picture. I want to tell everybody online, I forgot to tell all you beautiful people, hi. Alistair Waters, welcome aboard. Eric Hayes, welcome aboard. E2247, welcome aboard, as well as May Wood. Daniel Ledo, quien más está aquí? We tenemos aquí también. Let's see, everybody else. I don't have the whole list, or I can't really tell you all. But folks, don't remember, before I get into the last subject, I want to remind everybody that we are moving. KPFT 90.1 here, Egberto Willis at Politics Done Right at 6 a.m. in the mornings, starting on Monday. Those of you who are still up, tune in, tell folks about it. We're going to have a new audience, plus whatever part of the old audience we can carry over. But remember, still at politicsdoneright.tv, you can still get the full live program at 3 p.m. So those of you who've always supported us, we're always going to be here. But last subject of the day, I want to make sure to tell. Hold on a second. You got to leave, or?
Oh yeah, I can hang out.
Oh or? Yeah, you can hang out, because I may ask you something about what I'm going to talk about. We got about a couple. How much minutes we got? About 5 minutes or so. Okay, let me just. I'm not going to read the text. I'm just going to tell you what I have. Fox News has settled its case with Dominion. Everybody's talking about it as if somehow Fox News has lost. Folks, understand this. Fox News won. Fox News won. 767 or 787, however much money it is. That is peanut. That's chump change. From Dominion, it's a lot of money. Dominion is $100 million company. So getting $787 million is about what? Almost eight times their worth. But you know what, my brothers and sisters, that's chump change for Fox News, even though they don't have to come out, because they don't have to come out and say, people, we lied to you. We caused an insurrection, which cost billions to take care of. We misled people. We lied to them. We ensured that these darn people's minds are screwed for the rest of time. That's what Fox News has done. And for that 787 million, let me tell you, pastors who run churches that just make money, they prefer, they don't come for your money. They come for your minds. And you know what Fox News has? The minds of about 30% of this damn country. The minds of 30%. And you know what they control by having the minds of 30% of this country? That means they own their pocketbooks. That's why Donald Trump can go out there and raise money. A rich man with gold toilets. It's telling people, hey, they have me under arrest. Can you give me some money for my legal fees that actually I'm going to use somewhere else? And then his minions give him the money. Folks, if I have your mind, I can take you to the cleaners. Fox News won. They have $4 billion in the bank right now. It's only going to cost them less than 25% of that amount of cash they have in the bank. Stop being fooled by the mainstream media. Fox News won. They'll continue lying on TV. You know why? Because we've proven if we can pay $700 million and collect $1.5 billion on a consistent basis, it's the cost of doing business.
Right. I just think it just adds to the just distrust that everybody has in the media. Right. And as well, even in our government entities, this does not benefit the American people as a whole. So even though Fox News won, I think the American people lost.
Exactly. We really
lost.
Exactly.
On this one. And so it's unfortunate.
Hey, folks, we're going to be getting out of here. I think Rico is about to kick me out. I heard him scratching a bit. Oh, you're still going to give me another minute, Rico? Oh, I got a minute. And El Señor Howard is in there doing his magic, so it's all right. But anyhow, listen, folks, I want to thank Natalie Carter, because you're not only great for the school district in Humble, but I mean, I really like your thought process and, you know, being able to see things clearly that likely that on the board would make a hell of a difference. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Folks, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know what? You guys know how I end this baby. How do I end it again? I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.